Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon tank, and last night I got in there and did a bunch of work to it. I really should have done a before and after video, but I didn't think about it. It was getting kind of late. I just got in there and did a bunch of work, and so now we're not going to really be able to fully appreciate the drastic change that was made between the before and the after, but nonetheless we're going to have a look at it anyway. And the first thing you'll notice if you're a regular viewer is the lack of water sprite. I really did remove a lot of the water sprite that was in this tank. I've got some that's left, and instead of being down at the far end of the tank on the left where it normally is, it is sitting up here in front of the spray bar. And there's a reason for that. The reason being that while I was in there doing a little bit of work, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself on the update here, but you'll notice down there where my power head used to be, there's a big empty space. And that's because my power head was no longer working. And the power head in this tank was a 1,500 gallon per hour. And so it created quite a bit of a sort of clockwise swirling motion within the tank. And that always wound up bringing all of the water sprite down to this left-hand side of the tank. And that's where it would sort of collect. And so without that current swirling around in the tank, I've got very different water patterns. And now the main flow in the tank is coming from my spray bar, and it's kind of pulled the water sprite in towards it. And that clump right there is the only water sprite I've got left in the tank at the moment. Now, rest assured, it will not take long at all before that to be a huge mass of water sprite. I recently took the plants out of here and stuck them in my 125 gallon native tank. If you didn't see that video the other day, I can show you right now. All of those floating plants came out of this tank we're looking at, my 125. And that was all just one load of plants out of there. So last night I took a bunch more out. I stuck them in a bucket. They're now in my grow out tank as usual. I've got lots of water sprite, lots of Java fern for sale. I'll put my email down below if you're interested. I've always got water sprite. I've always got Java fern. And then every now and again I get a little bit of, something else. So if you're interested, check my email down below and we'll chat. I guarantee you'll get a lot of plants for your money though. I haven't had anybody that was dissatisfied yet. So after removing all of the plants, I got in there and I wiped down the glass. And then I continued removing plants. I removed a bunch of this Java Windelov. If you'll remember, that was just a huge crown, dense, packed full of plant right there. And light didn't get through it, and the water current kind of got stopped right there in the center of the tank. It was just a big congestion point. And I thinned it out across the back more dramatically, so it really lets the water flow through there. Now, of course, the power head's not working, so I've ordered a new one. We'll be getting that. I'll be doing a video on that in the near future. But it does allow the water to flow behind it much more easily, and I even removed some of it in the front so the water can move across the front of the tank. Remember, I said the water flows in sort of a clockwise fashion. It goes across the back and then swirls down this end, and then it comes back across this way across the front. But it wasn't able to do that because of all of that vegetation, and then of course all of this down here is blocking a lot of the water flow, that's moving in this direction as well. So we thinned a lot of that out. Down at this end of the tank, we really got in here and thinned some stuff out. One of the things I did was I cut a bunch of my tiger lotus back, or whatever kind of lotus that is. And I had a bunch of pads floating on the surface, so I got all them cut back. I cut back a few of the larger ones that were sort of taking up a lot of space. I removed a bunch of Java fern. You can see I got a little piece that's sort of left right here, and there's some little roots over here, some Java fern. I took a bunch of Java out of the back. And then I took a couple of pieces of Anubias and took them out. And then I got this piece of Anubias right here. This is only sitting in the tank at the moment because I don't have a place to put it at the moment in my grow out tanks. They're just too full of stuff. So this is one chunk of Anubias. And as I said, I normally sell water sprite and Java fern, But this Anubias I'm going to offer for sale whole as one big piece. So the shipping will be a little more, and it'll be a little more, you know, encumbersome to get shipped out. But I will do this whole piece for 50 bucks, shipping included, done deal. And then if I don't get any takers on that in the fairly near future, I'll wind up doing something with it in one of my tanks, or I'll maybe take it down to my local fish store and see if they're interested in it. But that is a big rhizome there that's probably over a foot long. So, like I said, if you're interested in that, my email will be down below. You can check it out. And then, of course, I've also got regular old Java Fern and Water Sprite, and I might be able to do a small piece of Anubias now and again. I don't have any at the moment. This is the only piece of Anubias I've got, and that certainly does not qualify as a small piece. So once I got all of that cleared out, I was able to get all of the glass down at this end cleaned off. I stirred up a bunch of the mulm and the junk that was sort of collected at this end, and I didn't really do much of a gravel vacuum, but I did stir it up into the water column and sort of move it down the tank as the water was draining, and then I wound up doing about a 60% water change, and so I really was able to pull a lot of the stuff out of here. I still need to do a filter change, and of course I ordered a new power head, so that'll be here tomorrow, and we will be back in here doing some more work again. But I also wanted to point out the way I'm getting these round sort of circle marks growing in the, I'll call it the off books, I guess. You can see it on a lot of the different plants. You can kind of see a little bit left over these sort of ring shapes. You can see it all over the glass. And it almost looks like when you see the growth in a petri dish or something, and then somebody sprinkles like an antibiotic on it, and it makes clean spots where the stuff won't grow. That's kind of what this appears to be to me. It's this strange sort of spotted effect. I wonder if it's not the plecos in here cleaning it, but it doesn't, I don't see any scrape marks, I don't see any teeth marks. They're not uniformly round enough to be, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's from a fish to me. It almost looks like something is preventing the algae from growing in these particular spots. You can see it's on the back glass. It makes it almost look like I've got some kind of disease in the tank, except it's like an anti-disease. It's preventing the algae from growing in those little circular areas, and I'm not really sure what that's all about. I've never seen that before. So if you have seen that before and you have any idea what we're looking at, let me know what you think that is, because I'm really curious about that. As of yet, this is the only tank I've seen it in, but it's very clearly something that's going on. It's not my imagination, and it does not look like it is marks from fish or snails or something like that. And I'm not even sure what that plant right there is. It's attached to the wood and it's growing. It could be something I put in here long ago and forgot about, and it's been hanging on and clinging to the tree, you know, clinging to that piece of wood all this time, and is now attempting to grow back since I've removed some of that fern and given it a little bit of light. Not sure. So we'll keep our eye on that and see if it doesn't develop into something. So remember, if you're interested in a huge mass of Anubias, all one piece, check my email down below. $50, that'll include shipping. And then of course, if you're interested in any other Java Fern or Water Sprite, or I've got the Java Windelov, I've always got tons of all that stuff, and I sell that at a very low price for a large amount of plants. So hit me up, we'll talk. Thanks for watching this one. That was my update on my 125. Look forward to an update on my waterfall tank, which you can hear so loudly in this video. I'm sure we're standing right next to it. That is not the 125 making all that noise. That is the waterfall tank I'm standing next to making all that noise. So look forward to a video from that coming up real soon. And then of course, don't forget this one here that we are looking at is my 125 gallon tank. So thanks again for watching this one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.